welcome to lesson 7. This is about writing and comparing numbers through hundred thousands, and we're also going to be learning about ordinal numbers. Now we've already learned about 3-digit numbers all the way up to hundreds. So our first 3 place values that we have is ones, tens, and hundreds. These are the 3 we've already talked about and reviewed over. Now we are going to add all the way up to 6 digits, which is our thousands place. So this is basically like our no-name group. We have ones, tens, hundreds. But then we have a combination of thousands, and it almost has a similar pattern. I have thousands, then I have 10,000s, just like I do with tens. Then I have 100,000s, just like I have hundreds. And the same pattern would repeat. After thousands, though, I would have millions, which would be 10 millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. Just like I always am going to have my tens and hundreds, 10,000s, 100,000s, in that same order. So commas are used in whole numbers only after every 3 digits counting from the right. That's very important to know because I know a very common misconception is to count 3 digits, 1, 2, 3, and then put a comma. But you count from the right. So as I've shown here, with this number, 54,321, a comma is like a placeholder. That way it makes it easier to be able to read the numbers correctly. So I have 54 where my comma goes. That's when I say 1,000. That's why I've written 1,000 here with the comma. It tells us what we're saying. So 54,321. Now that would be after just the first comma, because then the second comma you would read millions. The third comma you would read billions. But it tells us what we say. So I just read it right before the comma as normal, say 54, then I read 1,000. Then I read this chunk the same way I normally would, 321. So that's how we read numbers correctly. Now we've gone over how to write numbers as well. So in this example 1, this says to use words to name this number. Now notice it does not have a comma in it. So what I'd like you to do is to copy this number down for example 1. You don't have to write out this part of it or what you're doing. Just write example 1 and then write this number. Then I want you to insert a comma where it belongs. Remember, commas are used in whole numbers after every 3 digits counting from the right. So count from the right and add your comma. And then we are going to go over how to read it correctly. So I count 3 digits from the right. 1, 2, 3. That's where my comma goes. I know my comma says 1,000. So before my comma, I'm going to just read the 2 digits I have here, which is 52. So that's 50. And because it's between the numbers 21 and 99 and does not end in a 0, I need my hyphen. You will get counted off if you don't have the dash or the hyphen in between 50 and 2. 52, my comma says 1,000, so I put 52,000. Now this is a fun thing to realize is that after I write 1,000, because that's where my comma is, I then actually put a comma in my word. So I have 52,000, comma, then I read this as normal without this, so I'd read 370. That's exactly what I write. 370. So this says 52,370, and that's written out in words. I'm going to go ahead and underline it just so we have a little break here in between example 1 and example 3. Notice I did skip example 2. There's a lot of examples in this book, and we don't have enough space or time for that, at least during this video, but we'll go over them. Example 3 says to compare these 2 numbers. So we now have, these are 5-digit numbers. So I have 2 5-digit numbers and I want to compare them. So this is how we go about comparing numbers with the thousands place. look at my very first digit, which is the 2 on both sides. So far, they are both the same. This represents 20,000 and this represents 20,000. Then I go to the next digit, which is my thousands place. This represents 3,000 and this represents 3,000. So far, we have the exact same number. Now this one's a little squished, so you might want to look around long in your book to be able to read it if you can't see it well. In my hundreds place, I have a 4, and in my hundreds place here, I have a 6. 600 is automatically going to be larger than 400, which means that 23,654 is greater than 23,465. But when we read it correctly from left to right, I would say 23,465 is less than 23,654. So that's comparing whole numbers. You want to start with your very first digit and just work your way until you find one difference. When you find your difference, then you can stop there and automatically compare. So that's about comparing numbers and writing them through the hundred thousands place. Now we're going to look at ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers you are actually already familiar with. The name just might not sound familiar. Ordinal numbers name position. So if you were in a volleyball tournament and let's say you came in third place. Third is an ordinal number because that shows what position you came in. Or let's say that you're standing in line going to lunch and you are fifth in line. Fifth is an ordinal number because that's naming position. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Usually you add your TH at the end, and that would be an ordinal number showing position. So example 5, I'll go ahead and read it for you since it's maybe a little small on the screen, but it says Tom was the 4th person in line of 10 people. So we know there's 10 people in line, and he's the 4th person. How many people were in front of him, and then also how many people were behind him? So in order to do this, in math, you can always draw a picture. That's the best part about math, is that drawing a picture kind of helps us to see. For our visual learners, I'm very much a visual learner, so I like to draw, even if it's not a great drawing. I'm not great at it, but I enjoy it. So I'm going to just draw a little stick figure. So I have 1, 2, 3. They're going to be really squished together. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do 9 and 10. So we have 10 people. This might take a little bit of time. Add all the legs. I hope you're not making fun of my drawing. All right, so we have all the people. They have their bodies. We'll leave off the faces. Okay, so all these faceless people, we have 10 of them. And Tom is the 4th one. So if this is the front of our line, it doesn't matter which side you pick as the front. So I'm going to pretend that this is the front. This is the starting point. So it's the first person, second, third, and 4th person in line. So this is Tom right here. Tom is the 4th person in line. How many people were in front of him? He has 3 people in front of him. So I'm going to put 3 people for my first answer. Now, you may automatically think, oh, there's 10 people, so if 3 people are in front, that means 7 people are in the back. Well, let's check that work with our picture. There's Tom. How many people are behind Tom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people are behind because we're not counting Tom as being behind Tom. So we have 6 people behind. So those are our 2 answers. Now it always helps to draw pictures in these word problems, especially when naming position. If you just wanted to even draw the circles to represent it and not take the time to draw stick figures, then that's perfectly okay. Whatever helps you to be able to visualize and see, because I know a lot of you already understand this concept of naming position with first person, second, third, fourth. So it's just taking the time to be able to see how many people are in front, how many people are in back. They're not going to add up to 10 because we are talking about people and we have Tom. We're not including himself more than once. So thank you very much for paying attention to this lesson on naming numbers through hundred thousands and also ordinal numbers. Thank you.